Hi everyone, it's Brave here again. I just have some positive words to share with everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day or night, wherever you are in the world. And I'm here in London, and I'm just gonna just give you some positive words from my point of view. So, don't let fear and paranoia trick you into feeling weak or powerless. A lot of times, even though we're a spiritual being in a human body, it's like our human brain, this meat sack of a vessel that our spiritual enormous being is forced into this tiny little body, human body. And so obviously we're restricted by the human emotions, the human negative and positive emotions. So, paranoia that, things are never going to change for us, never going to get better, people are always going to be after us. Now, it doesn't mean that people aren't after you. Like, just because you feel paranoid doesn't mean there aren't jealous, horrible people who wish for your downfall. But what I mean is, even if there are people like that, don't let them win, is basically what I'm saying. So, when you have fear, you have to look at, is my fear based on me imagining the worst, or is there a true threat that I have to face and be prepared for, and be prepared to fight against it or protect myself against it. So also help those out in the world who would do the same for you. Don't allow people to let you keep helping them, yet when you need someone, they're not there. If you see a pattern emerging where everyone's asking you for help and money and, whatever, lifts, you're driving them around, they're not giving you money towards petrol, but when you need petrol money or food money or bills, you're short of money for bills or rent or whatever, they are nowhere to be found. That's not fair. So always look at who's being fair to me, even if it's family or friends. You have to be willing to say, I don't tolerate this. I'm not going to tolerate this. A lot of people who have been through abuse or not treated well, not treated fairly, they sometimes minimize their own needs. They sometimes feel like, oh, I don't want to say what I think because something bad will happen, because that's what their experience was growing up. Something bad happened anytime they questioned their parents or their family or teachers or authority figures, and so the only people who are truly deserving are the grateful ones, the people who would help you if they could, because obviously if someone's struggling and they're not in a position to return the help you give them, that's different. That's definitely different. So you have to be smart enough to decipher, use your discernment to work out who's a con artist, who's being a mooch or a bum or just trying to take from you. Be clever enough to recognize who's going to be the one, that would help you if they could, who would, want to repay you for all the help, because not all people are honest, not all people are like you, not all people feed the good in themselves. They prefer to trick others and use others, and that is sadly a high percentage of people in the world tend to be greedy. Even when they have enough money in their pocket, they'll take your money and leave you short, and then it's so unfair. But also, a question I often ask people is, why do you seek to fit into a world that is corrupt and evil and cruel and ugly? you know and look at the way this world treats innocent victims, innocent people. you know it's like you should never look for external validation anyway, from, especially not from a world that is so disgusting. Why look outside of yourself? You can validate your own self, you can recognize your worth, you can choose to be whoever you want to be. Don't let anyone convince you of lies about you, or convince you that you're not good enough or you can't achieve something. Who says you can't? If you try and work hard and go towards something, unless there's a deliberate corruption involved in stopping you. Like if there's, you know, a racist powerful body who can stop you, then yes, that's something external stopping you. That's not you not trying hard enough. That's different, you know. But like, you know, if there's discrimination, racism, sexism, homophobia, whatever it is, yes, those external things, we can try and fight against those, but those are external things stopping us. But if we choose ourselves to try, you know, and or we choose to not try because we're scared of failing, then that is our choice to let the fear win, to let paranoia win, or whatever, you know. So also, make sure that people show you appreciation for any help and good things you do for them. You know, some people feel like, oh, don't mention it, you know, it's, I don't want a pat on the head, I don't want you to tell the world, you know, I was there for you, it's fine. But no, it is important that people, that you know, it's not like you have to force them to, like, you know, put up a billboard and say, oh, I helped this, you know, this person helped me, everyone, you know, pat them on the head. That's not what I mean. But it would, if anyone has any decency and manners, they would tell you, I am grateful, thank you for helping me. A simple thank you is important. And anyone who doesn't thank you for helping them, anyone who would take advantage of your kindness, is a lowly snake, and you shouldn't trust them again. You know, obviously, you know, sometimes we help people multiple times and it takes a while to realize that, wait a minute, this person's very ungrateful or selfish, or they're getting the idea that I'm a sucker or an idiot and I'm just weak because I'm kind, and they're going to use that, what they consider a weakness, they're going to use you, squeeze you dry of your kindness, you know, whether it's financially you're helping them, whether it's babysitting for them, whether it's giving them lifts, whether it's, you know, driving them around or whatever it is. So you have to be smart enough, you know, to not just let everyone trick you, you know, because people will pretend to be perfectly harmless. That's, you know, the easiest way to get close to a good, kind person is to pretend to be, to mimic them, basically, because then you think, oh, they're like me, they're harmless, but they need my help, you know. Yeah, so another thing is, don't let guilt force you to keep, you know, wasting your time with these people. You know, every sob story doesn't need you to come in and rescue them. You can advise them to rescue themselves. You know, you can't do everything for everyone. You're just one person, and because, you know, this will become a habit of you saving everyone to your detriment, meaning to your disadvantage, or it will impact you negatively. You know, you have to take care of your own needs as well. You are just as important as well. So let me just check my little notes here. Yeah, so basically, you know, like I said, I've had issues in the past where I was so kind to everyone all the time that I was getting known for being kind, but it was in a negative way. People were like, oh, if you need anything, yeah, she'll just give it to you, you know, even if you don't need it. They were seeing my kindness as weakness, and it really angered me to think that people I'd been going out of my way to help, going out of my way to support, you know, in different ways, weren't respecting me. That really upset me a lot, you know. And a lot of us, we don't realize how much power we have. You know, we have the power to say no. You're not a bad person if you say no. A lot of people get trapped in a people pleasing kind of thing, and that could be from childhood trauma of abandonment. So they feel, oh no, if I say no to my boyfriend, my husband, my mother, my father, my siblings, my friends, I'm going to be abandoned. I have to be as nice as I can to them, and then they'll always want to be around me. But no, I've had that experience where I've been the perfect people pleaser, did everything these people asked, and all they did was see me as weak for their, you know, they knew I had a soft spot for them, they knew I loved them, they knew I didn't want to lose them, so they drained you of all your kindness and all your resources, and then it didn't matter how perfect you were the perfect everything to them, and it still wasn't enough. They still would disrespect you in many different ways. So that just goes to show it's nothing to do with you, because you were acting so called perfect, even though no one's perfect, but do you get what I mean? Doing everything they asked when they asked for it, even if it left you short, left you lost, and then you did all of that, and then next thing you know, they run off with someone else, or they want to spend time with other people who treat them like crap. So that's how crazy things can be, where you will get mistreated for being exactly what they asked you to be, or for doing exactly what they asked of you. It's ridiculous. And that can also come from being around people who have narcissistic personality disorder. The kinder you are to them, the closer you get to them, the more they'll push you away, the crueler they'll be to you. That's what I found with my narcissistic mother and father and sister, and other relatives. Grandmother, is a narcissist. And these are diagnosed people. This is not me guessing. They're very cruel people. But so like I said, at the end of the day, I understand that good people are capable of bad things and bad people are capable of good things. I understand that. But there is always, and I understand there is always the duality of light and dark within everyone on any given day. So, yes, there could be someone having a bad day and they didn't appreciate you and they took you for granted. I'm not telling you to cut them off immediately, but I'm talking about if you've seen over a long enough period of time, the pattern is there, the mistreatment is there. If you are telling them as well, this is making me feel bad, or this is not okay, what you're doing, whether you're aware of it or not, is not okay. We're drawing a line in the sand now, and we're saying that this boundary, I'm putting a new boundary, and you cannot overuse me. It has to be an exchange of kindness. You will repay any loans of money you take from me. There's not any just taking money from me and not paying it back because you think I won't say anything, that kind of thing. Yeah, so because at the end of the day, everyone has a choice to do wrong or do right. So it's our choices, it's our choices that everyone is responsible for their own choices, regardless of any painful, triggers you might have or painful things you've gone through. At the end of the day, we are accountable. We have to be accountable for our choices. So even though it's painful to be the victim of people mistreating you, we have to look at how have we allowed certain people to get away with it because we loved them, because we cared about them. We didn't want to cause an argument, we didn't want them to abandon us. Well, if they would abandon you because you asked them to pay back a loan they promised to pay back, then they were never there for you anyway. They were always an enemy. If they're family, they just happened to share DNA with you, but they weren't there for you. DNA doesn't give anyone the right to abuse you. Being your husband or wife or boyfriend or brother or sister or child doesn't give anyone the right to abuse anyone. If you took away the fact that you share DNA with the person, you wouldn't let them abuse you most times. Like, obviously, yes, your husband's not related to you, and some people find it hard because they love someone. They find it hard to break away. They see the mistreatment, they hate the mistreatment, but they love the days when the person is acting normal. And I've been through that too. I understand that complicated situation, when I've been with a toxic narcissistic ex, and they would mimic the kind things in you, and you would think that was them, so you would look for that, and on the days when they were cruel or nasty, you would think, well, I know they're a good person, I know they're capable of good, I'll just, we'll get through this kind of thing. And sadly, it doesn't change, and it's all, a trick most of the time when they're being kind. And it is such a shame, but that's, a different subject. But yeah, so we do have to think about how we are positively and negatively affecting others and ourselves. Like I said, by allowing others to use you or see you as weak or see you as, a punching bag or a bank or whatever it is, that people are doing to you, that, you're allowing because of love. You really have to become strong, mentally strong. It is so important to be mentally strong, like people don't realize how, you can be physically strong, but so what? Like, all these people building up their muscles and not exercising the most important muscle, which is their brain and their mind, which, if your mindset is so important. If someone's mindset is not secure and, steady and balanced, you know you could lose your mind, with all the stress and abuse that some of us go through. So you have to always keep a grip on reality, be realistic about your life and the people in your life and how they behave and what you're willing to tolerate. You know what is right and wrong, and so do they. Unless they have some severe disability, why would they not know what's right and wrong? I mean, most people these days are going towards the wrong. They are trying to get what they can get with very little hard work involved. And if that means stepping on people or tricking people or hurting people to get these things, most people sadly go to that dark decision to do wrong instead of help their community, help each other, lift each other up. Everyone's out for themselves, and it's really sad. Yeah, but one thing I always used to feel when I was younger was you have the power to shape your own destiny. And the trouble is, though, I do believe our destiny is already written. Now I kind of feel like, and especially because I've been shown through my psychic gift, and from passed away relatives have let me know that there is an afterlife. We do go back to the spirit world. We actually came from the spirit world to down to this earth plane in order to learn lessons, harsh, brutal lessons for some of us. The braver souls took on that mission to take severely brutal life plans, rather than come back to earth multiple times, reincarnated multiple times to learn lessons one by one, bit by bit. But the braver souls, who, anyone who's had a severely traumatic life, those were the braver souls who chose to come down and learn a harsh lesson in a quicker time, because then their soul will ascend faster when they go back home in the spirit plane. And it's like, it's such a weird thing. It's very hard for me, knowing that there's our home, our true home. Ooh, excuse me. Our true home that we came from, that is pure love and light. Like, when we were there, there was no race, there was no black and white or religion or sexuality. It wasn't, nothing like that exists. It was just pure love and light and energy. And when we're squashed down into this little meat puppet body, and we're shoved down to this low vibrational realm, earth, it's very hard. Our memory is wiped, and so we don't know why we're here. You're just living this life, you're born into this life, and you don't realize you picked those parents you had, you pick the life events you're going to go through. It's hard to understand. This is what I've been told, so I'm just passing on the message of what I've been shown through my psychic gift, from passed away relatives, from friends who've had near-death experiences, from other people who've had near-death experiences, and they've let me know exactly what they were told, and then the message they were supposed to pass on to let people here know about it. And you can look on YouTube channels on about NDEs, the near-death experiences, different channels on there, and they explain more clearer what I'm saying. And also in some of my videos on my channel, I've said as well in more detail what happens after we die. Your soul lives on. There is no death, there is no end. Your soul's infinite. So but it's very hard to even comprehend. Even though I know and believe it exists, my brain, my human brain, still is like, but why though? Why did I pick this horrible life? I've had terrible things happen to me, and sadly, I'm not even the worst victim. I've had what I would consider a terrible life, and yet there are people suffering much worse than me right now all over the world, past and present. It's terrible. So my brain is like, I don't understand, even though I believe everything I've been shown. it's still hard to believe, like, but then I look at parts of my life where certain things happened that weren't so bad, and I think, oh, I can understand why I picked that. Or people I've met and they've helped change my life for the better, and I thought, oh, I can understand why I arranged that I would cross paths with them. you know I mean, it's very strange, but when I laugh, I'm not laughing at a situation. It's just when I laugh, it's like going, geez, I can't believe it. This is so strange to have to comprehend it, because it just feels like, why does it have to be so brutal? Why does it have to be so hard? When I'm made aware of people's lives and the terrible things that have happened to them, it breaks my heart. And then I think, wow, I'm not the worst victim. And I wish I could save everyone from their pain and bring back anyone they lost. And, I wish I could protect everyone. It's very hard, especially being an empath. And I have an empath gift as well. And that makes me feel the whole world's pain. And it's just very, very hard. But, yes, I just that's it for this video. I just wanted to say those kind words, and just stick up for yourself, stick up for others. Don't be weak and vulnerable, because at the end of the day, you are not a weak, vulnerable person. It's just the situation has convinced you that you're going to be abandoned if you don't, bow down to everyone's demands. But if you put boundaries up, the people who really do love and respect you will understand why, you needed these boundaries, and they'll realize their mistake of being too greedy or too pushy or too, needy or clingy. They need to stand strong on their own, or as well as support others. If we all stand together, that's great, but just in case there's times we need to stand alone, we need to be prepared for that too. So yeah, but it's really important that people be mentally strong, work on your boundaries, don't be just weak and letting people trample all over you and taking away your power. Freedom is your birthright, and even though this earth is not our real home, we don't belong here. This is just an earth school, a brutal assault course for the soul, I guess you could call it. But when we are here, we're supposed to learn these lessons, and fulfill our mission. So I wish everyone strength and protection, love and light, and God bless everyone. Bye for now.